Okay, so let me just kind of tell you, I know Ms. Bella went over the rules yesterday with you guys, and then Mr. G also sent home an email yesterday about our rules too. So when we're in these live sessions, I do want you to know that I am recording at all times. So I am actually recording at this moment. And everything that I'm recording, you can see our public chats, you can see who's online. So when people add, so for right now I have 16 people logged in. But if people come in during the middle of our session, it'll show me so that I can add them to our roster and you guys can get credit for today's session. Okay. So please make sure you are careful about what you say, what you write, and what you do on here. Okay, especially if you have a camera. Okay, so today, these live sessions I will be doing with you guys on Thursdays and Friday mornings from 8:30 to 9:30. This is my time to meet with you. We can go over the agenda for today. We can have any, if you guys have any questions. I am going to do a lesson for you so that we're still interacting and we're working together, okay? So today's agenda, if you go into Canvas, you will see that I have already created your checklist for today. And I do need you guys to be filling out your checklist because just like I collect your work and I show that you're doing work in class, I also have to do the same online, okay? So everything is now being submitted through Canvas. Like your assignments and your quiz yesterday, those are being submitted through Canvas. Your quizzes you can take multiple times. Hold on, Linus, let me finish and then I'll get your question, okay? So you can take the quiz multiple times. If you don't pass it the first time, you can do a retake. That's what we do in class. So that's what I set it up in our quizzes for our Canvas yesterday. If you have not taken your quiz, you have until Friday to do so. And same thing for the assignment for your comprehension questions and changing states of matter. If you did not do your comprehension questions in your assignment, you just need to do it by Friday because I have a cap on that. Everything that we do in our class, I am collecting. I do have to say that you are doing work. So if there are students who are not doing work at all, I do have to try and contact parents. I have to contact them either by phone or by email. And if things still don't change, then I do have to let my administration know that you are not doing your work because through Springs, we are supposed to be doing our work. Okay? All right. So anyways, back to the agenda. Today's agenda in our checklist, we are going to work from our math books today, and we're going to start our lessons on fractions, adding fractions. And then you guys do have a science activity to do where you're defining words that have to pertain to our changing states of matter. And you guys have art today. So Miss Joyce recorded an art lesson in YouTube, and I included that in your Canvas, so you guys will see that also, okay? And then, of course, every day this is going to be the same for every day. ST Math and iReady Math. You do need to be completing 3% of ST Math every day, and you do need to be completing 2 lessons in iReady Math every day, or not every day, every week. Sorry, 3% every week, 2 lessons every week. Okay, so I'll pause right now before we get started with our lessons. And Linus, you have a question first, so go ahead and unmute and ask me your question.
Mrs. Collins, I feel like it's a good idea for everyone to stop because my entire screen literally just got resetted.
Oh no.
I literally had to log.
Okay, so we'll do that when we start the lesson. Thank you, Linus.
I'll do that too.
Okay, Audrey, did you have a question?
You're welcome.
I might have accidentally yesterday did all those pages from 27 to 30.
That's
I didn't
okay,
know
Audrey.
what exactly to do.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Still follow along with us today, okay? All right, Emma, you had a question? I can't hear you, Emma. Okay, Emma, can you type it into the chat since I can't hear you? And then Fernando had a question. He asked if it's volume 1 or volume 2. We are in volume 1. We're finishing up volume 1 with our adding fractions. So please get out your book, volume 1, and we're going to open up to our pages. And I'm going to have everyone go ahead and undo your screen so that everyone can see just me. And then hopefully that will help with anything that's maybe going laggy. And then I'll be nice and big. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so while students are getting their volume 1 book and opening up to page 227, I will start with our science lesson, okay? So this is what's uploaded into our Canvas. This is a PDF form, so if you want to print it out, you can. But the assignment is for you guys to define these words and to give an example. Because if we were in class, I would have you guys cut this out. We put this in our science journal. We use these as flaps. And then you would, underneath, you would define it, and then you would give examples of each changing state of matter. So that's what I'm asking you to do in Canvas. And you can actually do it 2 ways in Canvas now for that assignment. So you can type it in. You can click on text box and you type in your answers for each one. So freezing, what is freezing? And give me an example of the changing state of matter freezing. Okay, and then number 2, what is melting? And give me an example of melting. Number 3, what is boiling? Give me an example of boiling. Or you can do a video response. So just like I'm giving you a video right now of how to do this, you can give me a video or audio response of what each one is. Okay, so you have 2 options there for that assignment. So this assignment's fairly easy. It just has to go with our comprehension that we did yesterday, and I know some of you guys did that on Friday as well. If you did it on Friday, you still need to do it in Canvas for yesterday's work, because that is what I assigned yesterday, and I do apologize that some of you had to do it over again, but I'm sorry, with the substitute and us having to leave the school so quickly, I just didn't have a chance to collect everybody's work, and I know Miss Harrison did tell me that there was a lot of students absent, so I'm assuming I don't have even the whole class anyway. So please go in and do your quiz and your assignment from yesterday if you have not already done so. And then you will get a rather quick response because we are grading these rather quickly. Okay? Jaden, go ahead and just type your question into the box, okay? And I see that Ada's computer froze. Try and refresh, Ada, if you can hear me. And I'm opening up my book right now. I have my whiteboard right here so we can work out this together, okay? So I'm just opening up to my pages. So we're starting with page 227 today. And I'd like you to go ahead and do number 227. What do you think you should do here? So I'm going to read the question out loud, and then in our box, I want you to just write what you think you should do, okay? It says Emiliano needs a half a stick of butter to make cornbread. He also needs 1/4 stick of butter to make apple muffins. What fraction of a stick of butter does he need in all? Okay, so I am going to move my computer a little bit so that you guys can see more of my whiteboard. Here we go. And let me go get my marker. Got it? Okay. So I'm going to write this up on the board. So if you already know, if you think you know what to do, go ahead and do it, because that's what this part is. That's what we would do in class, is I would have you guys start. This is page 227, okay? Page 227. Jaden, why don't you have the book? Audrey, you're raising your hand. If you have a question, just type it into the public chat. I can see it, okay? Okay, so I'm going to write our problem up on my board. So we have a half a stick of butter. And he also needs 1/4 stick. So what is the fraction of stick of butter does he need in all? So the word in all means that we are going to, anyone want to type it in? What are we going to do? Yep, Jordan, thank you. You got it. Add. Perfect. Good job, Mateo. Page 227. That's what we started with. Wyatt, you are in volume 2. You need to have your volume 1 book right now. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and get started. I think some of you may have answered, or not answered it, but have started to work on it. You have 2/4. Okay, so Brianna said the answer is 2/4. Mateo says 2/6. So I'm going to put Mateo here, 2/6, and Brianna says 2/4. Okay. Anyone else have an idea? 3/4 for Emma. Okay, Emma says 3/4. Aubrey says 3/3. Okay. 3/4 for Jayla. Hi, Jayla. Oh, I need to add Jayla to our list because she's here. 3/4 for Jayla. Okay. Okay, Andrew, go ahead and just get a piece of paper so you can work on this, okay? 3/4, 3/4. Fernando says 4/3. Okay, 3/4. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve this. And whenever we have unlike denominators here at the bottom, we have to make them the same first, okay? So that means that I have to have the same numbers here at the bottom. So I'm creating a new fraction here, okay? So I'm going to show you the way I learned, and then I'm going to show you Common Core. Okay, so you're going to end up having about 2.5 ways because my way is similar to one of the other ways. So the way I do it is I look for what number will 2 and 4 both go into. What number will 2 and 4? Audrey says 4. So, because will 2 go into 4? Yes, because 2 times 2 is 4. And will 4 go into 4? Yes, because 1 times 4 is 4. So yes, so my new denominator is going to be 4. Okay? And my rule has always been whatever you do the bottom, you have to do the top. So if I have to multiply this by 2 to get 4, then that means I have to multiply what's on top times 2. So 2 times 1 is, perfect, 2. And so there's my new fraction. And this is an equivalent fraction to 1/2. Can you guys see that? It's equivalent. Because 2/4 would also be a half. Excellent. Now, if I times this by 1 to get 4, whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do the top. So what's 1 times 1? 1. Perfect. And now, again, this is, I don't even need it to be an equivalent fraction. It's exactly the same because I've times it by 1. Okay? So now I'm going to put my plus sign here. And now that I have my denominators the same, I can go ahead and add the tops. And whenever you're adding and subtracting fractions, your denominator always stays the same, and you just add your numerators. Okay, bye, Nathan. Let me know if you need help, and come chat me later, okay? Okay, what is 2 plus 1? 3. Perfect. Good job, you guys. So then your answer for this one is 3/4. Okay? And let's see, Emma had 3/4, Jayla had 3/4, and I know some of others, you guys agreed. 3/4. Aubrey changed to 3/4. Yeah. You can't hear. I'm not sure how that will work. Can someone type into Ada that she'll need to get her parents to figure out why she can't hear? Okay, thank you. Okay, so now I want to kind of show you some other ways to do this also. So one of the ways is similar to mine, and that is finding one of our multiples of 2 and 4 so that we can figure out what number they will go into. So down here, I'm going to put the number 2, and I'm going to put the number 4. So multiples is the same thing as a product. So your multiples are what 2 times a number equal. So we always start with the number 1. So I'm going to create like a little chart here. And I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to go to 6 for right now. Okay? So 2 times 1 is perfect. 2 times 2, perfect. 2 times 3, perfect. 2 times 4, excellent. You guys are on a roll. So you guys see what I'm doing here, right? Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing for 4. 4 times 1, thank you. 4 times 2, good. 4 times 3, perfect. 4 times 4, yeah, you guys get it. Excellent. And then 20, and then 24. So now I have my multiples of 2 and 4, and I can see which ones are the same here. I need them to be the same in both 2 and 4. And this is actually called your least common multiple, LCM, because you're looking for the lowest common multiple. Someone has their mic on. If you can please turn that off. Thank you. The page is 227, Jaden. 227. That's what we're working on.
227.
Okay, so this is called the least common multiple. So looking at our numbers, I want to start this way because I want them to be the same at a lower end of my chart here. So which number is the same for both 2 and 4 that's the lowest? Not 3, Jayla. 4. Good, Audrey. Yeah. So 4 is the same because it's the smallest, it's the lowest, and look, it's close to the end of my chart here, but they're both the same in everything. So then once I have the 4, now I can do my new fraction, which is what I did up here. Okay. I'm not sure why some of you you can't see me. Then you need to refresh if you can't see me. It's the internet. I know. It's just because we're all on. Ooh, we're up to 19 students. That's wonderful. We still have a good amount gone though, so we'll have to make sure that they get on. Okay, Levi, I don't get it. Okay, so Levi, are you not getting the math, or are you not getting? Oh, is it because it's laggy? Yeah, Aubrey, I know. Okay, okay, so that's okay, Levi. We're gonna go over it a little bit more, and then maybe Levi, you can come see me during my office hours today so I can help you a little bit more too. Okay? All right, perfect. Okay, so here, that's what we've done. We've figured out our lowest common multiple, because then we used our 4 right here as our new denominator, because our denominators have to be the same in order to add and subtract. Okay? The other way is for our visual learners. Our visual learners, we look at pictures, okay? So we have a half, and I don't know if you guys can see me. Let me move my camera a little bit so you guys can see the bottom here. So we have a half. I'm going to color that in. And then we have a 4th.
Write it down as she's writing it, baby.
I know.
And write any questions you have, so. Okay.
And then if we add those two together, we now have 1, 2, 3 fourths. Because if we were to split this into fourths to make that even, then we have 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry. Let's see if we can do it. 1, 2, 3. Because if I split this into fourths, I now have 1, 2, 3. Everyone see that? So now that's 3/4. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Mateo, do you understand then, since you're my visual learner? Yes, it's just like ST Math. Yep. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead now, and if you guys turn to page 228. If you turn to page 228, you guys can see that I have done everything that we've just talked about, but we're going to fill in the blanks together, okay? So let's look at number 1. It says, explain how you found how much butter Emiliano needs. Well, I'm not going to have us write down an explanation right now because we've just discussed like all the different possible ways on how he needs a total of 3/4 sticks of butter, okay? We're on doing number 1 on page 228 right now. Okay, now let's look at number 2. It says, before adding fractions, the fractions must have the same size parts of a whole. You can use what you know about multiples and equivalent fractions to find a common denominator for fractions that have unlike denominators. Use the fractions half and third. Write the next 4 multiples of each denominator. So our denominators for that question on page 228 is for the multiples of 2 and 3. Okay, so let's write down what are the multiples of 2. So let's start with 2 times 1 and write that on the line. Perfect. So I'm going to erase. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I want to just make sure that we're doing the right pages. Okay, so I'm going to erase my board so that we can write this together, okay?
Okay.
Need your paper questions?
No. We write the questions down right here.
Okay, so we're going to start with our multiples of 2 and 3. So I'm going to create my little chart, 2 and 3. And I'm going to write number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can go to 8. Okay, so let's go ahead and start doing that. So we already said 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2. Good. 2 times 3. Perfect. 2 times 4. Good. 2 times 5. Yep, you guys got it. And 16. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, so we're writing that on the line where it says multiples of 2. Okay, now we're going to do our multiples of 3. It's right below it. So let's write down the numbers for multiples of 3. So 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3. Hold on, Audrey. Okay. 3 times 4. 3 times 5. Yeah. And then 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 7 is 21. 3
Mom.
times 8 is 24. Okay.
You can turn on
Yes,
your
Audrey, go ahead.
Okay, so I have the book here, and it only shows so many spaces for it.
Oh, it does?
it only shows so many commas. It has 1, 2, 3 commas. So you can
Oh,
only fit 6, 9, 12, and 15 in it.
okay, then don't worry about the commas. Let's just do it through this chart, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, great question. Okay, so I just still want to keep us with this chart. Now we're looking for our lowest common multiple. What is our lowest common multiple? So something that a number that they have in common that's closer to this end as possible. Wyatt, let's stick to math comments, please. So what number do they have the same here? That's the lowest common multiple. Good. Aubrey says 6. Does everyone agree with her? Yes. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to circle 6. Okay, so our original fractions were 1/2 plus 1/3. So now what we're doing is we're going to be changing our denominators to 6 because that is the lowest common multiple. Okay, let's look at B. Complete the models and equations to show equivalent fractions for 1/2 and 1/3 using the common multiples as the common denominators. Okay, so I don't know. Do you guys have the pictures? Are they shaded in at all? Yeah, we are on page 228. Okay, are your circles shaded in? Okay, perfect. So then the first one should say 1/2, right?
Yeah, to make sure.
Okay, good. So then it should say 1/2. So I'm actually going to erase this and I'm going to put 1/2 because I'm going to follow the pictures. Equals blank over 6. Okay. Yeah, so the blank is 3. Perfect. Because 2 times 3 equals 6. And whenever we do the bottom, we have to do the top. So 3 times 1 is 3. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing for our 1/3. So here's our 1/3. And it says is equal to blank over 6. 2 6. Audrey says 2 6. Okay, so we have to times this by 2 to get 6. And whatever we do the bottom, we have to do the top. So what's 2 times 1? 2. Yeah, perfect. So now we have equivalent fractions for our 1/2 and our 1/3, but at least they have the same denominator, so now we can add the 2. Okay? So for C, it says use equivalent fractions to add. So now that we have 1/2 plus 1/3 is changed to 3 6 plus 2 6. So that's what you're going to put in your blanks. You're going to put 3 and a 2 for the letter C. Okay? And now we're going to add them up together. So 3 6 plus 2 6 is equal to perfect. Yep. 5 6. Okay? So don't forget your denominator. I saw some of you just type in 5. Yeah, you will be putting 5 in there for sure, but I just don't ever want you guys to forget your denominator. So yeah, so this is what we should be filling in for our blanks for letter C. Okay? C is confusing. So what it's moment math right here. That's what it is. It's just breaking it down into steps, Jayla. So we've broken it down where we changed our fractions into equivalent fractions, and then we just added them together, and that's the answer. Okay. I'm not sure why you can't see. Can everyone else see? Is it clear? Okay. Okay. Great. Okay, number 3, we're going to reflect now. It says, what equivalent fractions could you write to add 1/2 and 2/3? Explain. Well, they just wanted to just put this into words. So we're just going to write just a quick little, this doesn't need to be long. You guys only have 2 lines anyways, okay? So in the chat, can you write, or if anyone, if you turn on your camera and you raise your hand and let me see if you would like to say what we need to write, and I will write it on my whiteboard.
Are you writing what you're supposed to type in what?
What equivalent fractions could you write to add 1/2 and 2/3? Explain.
Well, what would be a common denominator between the two?
The one number below.
Okay, so let me read the question again if anyone would like to type it in the chat, or
The equivalent fractions.
yeah, someone has their mic off, or on, excuse me. Someone has their mic on.
Oh, is that sorry.
Make sure all mics are off, please. Thank you. Okay, so so it's asking us what equivalent fractions could you write to add 1/2 and 2/3. So let's actually do it. Okay, so I'm going to do it right here. I'm going to draw a little line, and then we're going to do 1/2 and 2/3. So I put them vertically so that we could write down what numbers would go into 3 and 2. But we already actually know, right? We already know what goes into 3 and 2 evenly the same. Our lowest common multiple is going to be what? Our lowest common multiple for 3 and 2 is going to be what? What's the, thank you. Yeah, I see. Okay, good. Yeah, 6. Okay, so we're going to change this into 6 because that's exactly what we just did here. So let's find our equivalent fractions first. So what times 3 equals 6?
You hit her hard.
2, perfect. And what times 2 equals 6?
Because she can't.
Yep, 3. Okay, and remember, whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do the top. So if this one we're timesing by 2 on the bottom, then we need to times 2 to our numerator. 2 times 2 is?
I feel it.
4.
I feel
And then whatever we, I can hear someone singing in the background. Can you please turn off your mic? Thank you. Okay. 3, and whatever we do at the bottom here, 3 times 2 is 6, so 3 times 1 is 3. So now what we have come up with is equivalent fractions for our 1/2 and our 2/3, because this is question number 3, the reflect. And it says to come up with equivalent fractions to add 1/2 and 2/3. So our equivalent fractions would be 3/6. So that means that 1/2 is equivalent to 3/6, and 2/3 is equivalent to 4/6. So these right here are equivalent fractions. They're equivalent fractions that have the same denominator. And in order to add, we have to have the same denominator. Okay? So here's what I want you to put on this number 3. I want you to put this work right here that we just did together for number 3. We won't write a sentence, just the work. Okay? It's blurry. My camera's not the best. Let's see if I can scoot it up a little bit. Is that a little bit better? Okay. Yeah, so 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, Emma, can you type in what specific part you don't get so that I can explain for you? Mateo, go ahead and unmute so you can ask me your question.
Collins?
Let me close the over here and see if that helps. Is that better? Any of the adding fractions part that you did. Okay, so Emma, so what I've done is I can't add a half and a third because they don't have the same denominator. So I have to change the denominators to be the same. In order to do that, I have to find the LCM, the lowest common multiple. That a multiple is a product of a multiplication problem. So 2 times 3, it's 6. Okay, that's the product. 3 times 2, it's 6. That's the product. So we're looking for the lowest one so that we can change it into an equivalent fraction with that denominator that we chose from up here so that we can add it. And my camera is attached to my computer, so I know it's not the best camera. This is hard. Okay. Well, we're going to be doing this a little bit, and I can go slower if we need to. Okay. I know I'm foggy. We're looking into getting a different camera. But I do have to use this big blue button because that's what it is provided. Okay. Yeah, so we're just finishing up page 228. Do we have this written for page 228? Linus, can you unmute and let me know how you're doing? Okay, let me check in with Linus first, and then Wyatt, you have a question, so then you can come on. Linus, can you hear me? Can you unmute so you can tell me how you're doing?
That's so stupid.
How are you doing, Linus? I can't hear you, Linus. How are you doing?
There we go.
Okay. How are you doing?
It's lagging a lot right now. And I don't know which problem we're on right now.
Turn off the music.
Okay, it's very laggy. Okay. I am recording this, so I
I'm
will
very, very confused.
You're very, very confused. Okay. I am recording this, so I am going to put this in Canvas so you can rewatch it, okay? And then I can help you during my office hours if you come on again, and then maybe we can do some more work together. So any of you that are having problems,
really depends.
I'm sorry, Linus, go ahead.
Really, it really depends.
Depends on what?
I meant to ask earlier. It really depends how I'm feeling, but Mrs. Collins, I forgot to ask this earlier. How long are we going to be having class with you?
We're going to be on for about another 10 minutes.
Yeah, but what time do we end?
What time are we ending?
Yeah, what time do we end?
So yeah, 9:30 is my scheduled time. Yesterday I went over a little bit because we didn't get started right at 8:30, so somewhere around 9:30.
It was not.
Miss Collins,
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
it's so laggy.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's using the internet now because so many schools are on virtual learning now.
I have to.
Okay.
Yeah, so but that's another reason why I'm recording everything so that I can post it onto Canvas for you and you guys can rewatch it. Okay?
I have to agree.
Yeah.
It is very laggy.
Okay. Okay, go ahead and mute yourself again, Linus. And Wyatt, do you still have a question?
Hold on. Sometimes it takes a second to like load because it's
Oh
so
my
lag.
god. Do you hear me?
Wyatt, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, what's up?
Are we gonna do any more pages?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I would like to do page 229 with you guys before we sign off, okay?
Okay, and also, like, what's it called? Will you do art with us or no?
Will I do what with you?
Will you do art with us?
Art is a video that Miss Joyce has already produced through YouTube, and so I have uploaded that link to Canvas for you. So you just watch the video, and she'll
Okay.
tell you what materials you need, and if you have them, you can go ahead and do it.
Really
Okay.
hope this doesn't include paint.
Oh, I know, huh? Oh, no, it does. I think she uses watercolors.
Work. Why won't this unmute?
Okay.
Colin.
So
For
everyone,
like
I
a
would like to
second.
do page 229 before we leave, and then I can stay on longer for any other questions. And then I also want to remind you that I do have office hours between 12:30 and 1:30 where we can video chat and I can help you out some more, okay? I know fractions can be a little daunting, but we'll get through it. We'll figure it out, okay? So right now, let's turn to page
Miss
229. Who's calling? Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Okay, so I can't see anything, so I'm gonna watch the video later.
No, that's totally fine, Ada. Thank you for telling me.
Okay.
I know you've been having a lot of
Bye.
problems. Okay,
Yeah, because my internet's bad right now.
you got it. Thank you.
Why?
Bye.
I will not unmute.
Miss Collins?
Yes.
Man, I'm gonna break my Chromebook.
So we're only doing this Thursday and Friday?
Yes. So we're only doing this Thursday and Friday because I meet with 6th graders from 8:30 to 9:30 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So I will have a video for you guys, a pre-recorded video on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for you. But you guys can live chat me on my office hours on Tuesdays and Wednesdays between 12:30 and 1:30.
Also, how far did you want us to get in the math book?
I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm just re-looking to make sure. Oh, Moses is on. Okay, so I need to add Moses and Natalie and Jaden Torres to our roster. I just wanted to check and make sure real quick. Okay, let's go ahead and do page 229. So I'm going to erase all of this now. And then please remute yourself if you have unmuted. Let's do that page and then I'll kind of lay out what's left for you to do, okay? All right, so number 1, we are doing our common denominator here. So common denominator. Okay? And then we have boxes and boxes of examples. So let's go. I think I just lost myself.
Minute.
Yeah.
Come on. Where?
I'm just letting you know you did.
No, I know. I can see. I don't. Okay, let's try again. I think it's the internet.
What?
Okay, I'm trying to share it. Let's see if it shares. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's the internet. It's not sharing my webcam now. Dang it. Blah, blah, blah. Let me try one more time. Oh, there I am.
Say, try again.
Let me know if you guys see me.
I see you.
Yeah,
Okay.
you came back on.
Okay, perfect.
I can see you now.
Okay. Okay, so common denominator. So we're looking for examples of each one. So it says, think about what you know about equivalent fractions. Fill in each box. Use words, numbers, and pictures to show as many ideas as you can. So I'm going to go straight up and do this one first. So for this one, we want to write down when two or more fractions have the same denominators, they have common denominators. So let's, I'm just going to rephrase that into a shorter sentence. So common denominators are same denominators. So I didn't even do a full sentence here, okay? Common denominators are same denominators. So our math lingo is common denominators. Our math lingo is lowest common multiple. Okay, so then for this example over here, we're going to draw the picture that we used when we were adding 1/2 plus 1/4. So that picture would look something like this, and it was shaded in. And then the second picture was a fourth, and it was shaded in, just like that. There's 6 of them. Yeah, thank you, Grace. I can add more. I'm going to explain all of that, okay? Wyatt, let me just finish this up first. Okay, then let's put in this box our LCM, which stands for lowest
Common
multiple. Bless you. Lowest common multiple.
Oops, sorry, my mic is on.
Yeah. Don't worry, we're going to stay a couple minutes longer, okay, because I'm not done. And we did start a little bit later. Okay, so we have lowest common multiple, our common denominator. We have a picture example. So over here, we're going to put equivalent fractions, because that's another one of our math lingos. So equivalent fractions. And that's going to look like, I'm going to use this up here. So 1/2 is equal to 2/4. That would be my example.
I don't know what page we're on.
We're on page 229.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then let's do another example is where we're actually going to add, so there's one in the middle, I think, down here, and then there's one over here. So the one in the middle, it's another picture. It looks just like this, but it's using a bar graph, or bar model instead. So we would do a half, because we're using our 1/2 and 1/4 example, and then I'm going to draw another bar model, and I'm going to do a fourth. And so that would look like this. Okay. And for our last example, we're actually going to add our 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/4. So over here we would do 1/2 plus 1/4, and the equivalent fractions were 2/4 plus 1/4, and we know that that equals 3/4. Okay. Yes, Emma, absolutely. No, you don't, Wyatt. You're actually really good at math. Yeah. So, okay, let's do number 2, and then I'll address some more. Okay, can you find a common denominator for 1/3 and 1/5? Okay, so I'm going to do that right here at the bottom real quick. So I'm going to do 1/3 and 1/5. Looks like that. Okay, let's write out our multiples of 3. Okay, so we have 3 times 1, 3. 3 times 2, let me do it a little bit farther. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 3, 3 times 4, 3 times 5. And I'm going to stop there. And now I'm going to do my multiples of 5, okay? 3 times 1, or I'm sorry, 5 times 1, 5 times 2, 5 times 3, 5 times 4, 5 times 5. Okay, looking at these sets of numbers, what is your lowest common multiple? Lowest common multiple. Fernando says 15, and Aubrey says 12. Well, Aubrey, is there a 12 in our multiples of 5? Yeah. Okay, good. So, and there's no 5 up here. There's no 10. So, yep, Fernando's correct. 15 is our lowest common multiple. So that means our equivalent denominator is going to be 15 for both fractions. Okay? So now, what did we multiply by 5 to get 15? Perfect, 3. Whatever we do the bottom, we have to do the top. So 1 times 3 is, yep. Okay, what did we multiply by 3 to get to 15? Good job, Linus. Perfect. And what's 1 times 5? Perfect. So now we can add these two fractions because now they have the same denominator, a common denominator, okay? So what is 5 plus 3? Perfect. So your answer now, I'm going to put the answer over here, is going to be 8/15. Okay? And that is number 2. So this one right here is all number 2. Yep. Okay, so while some of you are finishing that up for your work, what you're going to do is if you understand fractions and you get it, you're going to do page 230 on your own now, okay? If you don't understand it and you do need more help, come see me during my office hours, 12:30 to 1:30 today, and we will do page 230 together. We'll do this big blue button, same length. I'll open it up at 12:30 and you guys can come in and we can do this together on my whiteboard, okay? If you did it already, then you're wonderful and you can go on. Okay, so let's go back to our checklist. So you need to do page 230. You need to do ST Math. You need to do iReady Math. You have your science definitions to do. And then you have art. And that's everything for me. Okay.